From Caterpillars to Butterflies, episode 22, How to Live a More Joyful, Peaceful, Purposeful Life.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Charlene Dior.
Hey, this is Charlene, your host of the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. I appreciate you investing your time here today. What I wanted to talk about today is how to live a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. How to live a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. So I have a Facebook group with women who are really trying to grow themselves and grow their lives. And I wanted to really learn how I could more support them. And it's crazy because I already had some ideas. And then I thought, let me go ask them, thinking that they were going to support my ideas. So I had a survey and I asked, what goals are you working on in your life right now? And I gave some choices: losing weight, paying down debt, improving a romantic relationship. And one of them was living a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. And I was thinking that they were going to say that they were trying to lose weight, trying to make some extra money, improve their career. And I already had in my mind, like, okay, here's how I'm going to structure the group going forward to help really help them accomplish these goals. But the number one answer was overwhelmingly living a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. That is what the ladies in this group are working on in their lives right now. And I was stumped. Like, how do I help them do that? Like, I can help you lose weight, or I can help you, I'm not going to tell you how to lose weight, but I can totally help you track that. I can help you put the right parameters in place to accomplish that goal. I can help you put the right parameters in place to help you increase your income goals and to hold you accountable and have the right tracking mechanism to make sure you're staying on track. I can handle that, right? But how do you help facilitate someone wanting to achieve a intangible goal, one that is not quantifiable? So that's what I was challenged with figuring out. And so I spent some time really thinking about it, writing through it, reflecting on it. And here's what I've come up. So that is kind of the backstory of how this episode has come to be about. But here's what I have to say about living a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. And really, these three words might not be the right words for you. You might want to live a more adventurous and loving life. You might want to live a more spiritual life. Like, the words might not be what you would say for your life, but I think the lesson here is going to be the same. This is applicable to you regardless of what type of life you want to create for yourself. But I'm going to just stick with joyful, peaceful, purposeful throughout this, but know that regardless of whatever experience of life you want to obtain, what I'm going to walk through is going to help you. The first thing though, so regardless of what you want to create, what adjectives you want to use, you have to know what they mean to you. What does it mean to you to live a joyful life? What does it mean to you to live a peaceful life, to live a purposeful life? You have to first have a very solid picture of what that means to you so that you can then work on creating it. So I pulled some definitions on these three words. Joyful means feeling, expressing, or causing great pleasure and happiness. Feeling, expressing, or causing great pleasure and happiness. And so if that is your definition of joyful, and you want to create a life that is joyful, that is feeling, expressing, causing great pleasure and happiness, then you can decide from there what that actually looks like. What does great pleasure and happiness look like to you? The same thing with peaceful. Peaceful being free from disturbance, tranquil. I think of peaceful as being drama-free, anxiety-free, worry-free. And so if that's your definition of peaceful, then what exactly does that look like? And as I'm saying this, you might even have some things popping into your head already about what peaceful or joyful looks like to you. Purposeful, having or showing determined or resolve, being intentional, on purpose. What does that word mean to you? What does a purposeful life mean to you? And I talked about that very early on in The Truth About Purpose. So what does living purposeful mean to you? You have to get a really crystal clear picture of what these things mean to you, because my idea of a joyful life might not be your idea of a joyful life. So you have to know what the definitions are to you, what the vision is for you, and get really super clear on that. If you need to jot it down, journal on it. Get really, really clear on what a joyful, peaceful, purposeful life means to you. What does it look like? So that when you get there, you know that you are there, right? It's like when you're crossing state lines. I know when I was a kid and we used to drive from Georgia to Kentucky, where I'm from, and we would always wait for that Kentucky sign. Welcome to Kentucky. And we would be cheering and clapping in the car like we are home. We are in the KY, right? Go Wildcats. That's the sign that says you're here. You've made it. So having a really crystal clear vision of what these things mean to you, let you know that you are there when you are there. They let you know that you have arrived. So you don't want to skip this step. Get really clear on what it looks like to you. And then you want to think about, well, what areas of your life don't fit that definition? They don't fit the vision of what you just saw when you saw joy and peace and purpose. Is it your career? Is it your relationship? Is it your children? Like, what area of your life doesn't fit the definition? And what areas do? And why is that? Why is it that the area that doesn't fit your definition doesn't fit it? What's causing it to not fit? And what is it that makes the areas of your life that do fit the definition fit? Look for those commonalities or trends. Why do these areas fit? And what's causing these areas not to fit? What's the difference? And once you're clear on what the gap is, then you need a game plan. You need a game plan for having a strategy to close the gap. What do you need to do to close the gap? See, when we're working towards quantifiable goals like losing weight, it's really easy to have a game plan. And we know it and we can recite it. Anyone who is trying to lose weight, seriously, has a game plan. They're like, I'm on a low carb diet and I go to the gym 3 times a week. That's my game plan, right? Or I'm only eating 1,200 calories and seeing my trainer twice a week. That's the game plan. People have a game plan for when they're really serious about quantifiable goals. You're trying to save for a house. I'm saving $500 every month. That's the game plan. So you need a game plan at the same time for this vision of life. It's a being, right? This goal of saying I want to live a joyful, peaceful, purposeful life, it's a being goal. This is who I want to be goal. But you need a game plan to make that happen nonetheless. That might include rituals, morning routines, prayers, journaling, meditation. It might mean setting boundaries and enforcing them. We talked about that a few weeks ago. It might mean creating balance in your life. We talked about that a few weeks ago in that same episode on boundaries. It might mean getting more involved in some things, getting less involved in other things. You might simply need to make some decisions. You know, they say that happiness is a choice. It's just a matter of choosing. So if you want to have a joyful life, which means great pleasure or happiness, then it's just a decision. I'm just going to choose to have joy today. So you might just simply need to decide over and over and over and over again. You might need to change or evolve some things. Change your career, change your scope of responsibilities at your career, change your attitude about things, about life, change your perspective. Joyce Myers, who's a Christian pastor, came to my church and she did a really great sermon on blue sky and green grass. She was talking about how you have one of those massive, like 500-piece puzzles, and it's like a scene, like a scenic picture that you're putting together. And it's like a lot of blue sky and a lot of green grass. And so you're spending like hours putting together the grass and the sky. And you're like, give me something else to do. Where's the sun at? Where's the house or the dog, right? But you're just spending a lot of time just doing blue sky and green grass. Blue sky, green grass, blue sky, green grass. And that monotony, the sameness of doing it over and over again, it gets at us, right? It gets at us and we start to feel out of purpose. And we start to feel out of joy and out of peace because we're tired of doing blue sky and green grass. We're tired of it. But we have to really manage our perspective. Manage our perspective. You know, what Joyce was saying is that it doesn't matter what level of life you get. All the dreams that you have in your heart right now, if they came true tomorrow, after a season, you would go back to feeling like blue sky and green grass. Even her, and at her place in her life, sometimes she's like, I don't want to travel this weekend. I don't want to have to stay in another hotel room and get on another airplane. Blue sky, green grass, again, I just want to, be home. I'm tired of this, right? So it doesn't matter what level that you get to. At some point, we're all going to be like blue sky, green grass. And something new will happen. We'll start to put together the sun, and then it'll be like more blue sky. Knowing that about life, knowing that we as humans adjust. So what's exciting for a season, we adjust and we get acclimated to it. It's how we take things for granted because we adjust, we get comfortable. And so you can't lose perspective on it. You can't lose perspective or let the day-to-dayness of life cause you to divert from what you said that you wanted. You can't let the sameness, the mundaneness of life divert you from the peace of life or the purpose of life. You have to manage your perspective. And I'm saying manage and not change because you can change your perspective today and then tomorrow you're back, you've changed it back, right? Like when I left the sermon that day, the church, it was so powerful. That sermon was so powerful. If you can find it and listen to it. I'll see if I can find it. I don't know. But it was powerful, right? And I met my girlfriend after church. She went to church. She goes to the same church as I do. She goes to the 8 o'clock service. I go to the 11 o'clock service. But I met her after church for lunch. We hadn't seen each other in a while. Like, let's catch up. And we was like, girl, did you hear the sermon today? Blue sky, green grass. It was so powerful. My week was better because, man, I changed my perspective about the day-to-day mundaneness of life. And then you know what? A few weeks later, a month later, I don't know, I was back to thinking, man, blue friggin' sky, green effing grass, right? So you can't change your perspective. You have to manage it. Manage it every single day. I think it was Jim Rohn who said, people say that motivation doesn't work. You're right, it doesn't. Neither does bathing. That's why they tell you to do it every day. So having the right perspective, having a perspective that life is joyful and that it is peaceful and that it is purposeful, is not something that you do one time. You have to manage your perspective. Every time you forget, you have to remind yourself. Manage your perspective. There's an old story about 3 men who are working on a building, a church. And so you ask one man, what's he doing? And the guy says, I'm laying bricks. You ask the other guy what he's doing. He says, I'm building a building. And then you ask the third guy, what's he doing? He says, I'm creating a masterpiece, right? They're all doing the same exact thing, but one of them has a different perspective. And maybe in the beginning of this season of your life, you had the perspective that you were creating a masterpiece. And then slowly you were like, I'm just building a building here. And then you were like, man, I'm just laying some bricks. Brick after brick after brick. Perspective changes everything. And it's not once and done. It's managing it over and over again and finding those things that help you manage it. It could be back to what I said earlier, having a ritual every day. Journaling, praying. It's having the right perspective. And what can help you have that right perspective? Maybe the guy who said that he was building a masterpiece, maybe he saw the final blueprint. He saw how beautiful this building was going to be. And maybe the guy who just was laying bricks didn't get to see the final picture. So then what do you need to see, to expose yourself to, in order to change your perspective, in order to see the bigger picture? It might be seeing the final blueprint. It might be talking to customers if you're feeling out of purpose at work. It might be getting in front of the customers whose lives you're making a difference in, right? It might be taking more ownership over whatever responsibilities that you do have. Maybe you only own a piece of it, but you need to own a little bit more of it. So what can you do? What can you change? What can you evolve in order to help shift your own perspective? Maybe it's just hearing from God. A Facebook friend of mine said something to the effect that she was asking God to give her more purpose, give her more responsibility. And God said, I've given you responsibility, given you purpose. Right now, your purpose is raising your kids. Right? So even the person who, so look, there are some people who are like, man, my life has no purpose. I have no children. I have no meaning. All I do is just live for myself and do what I want to do, get up when I want to get up. And, I have no purpose. And then there are people who have children and they're like, man, I have no purpose. All I do is just change diapers all day and help them with their homework. I have no purpose. Right? But maybe the purpose in this season of your life, maybe you're in purpose. You just have to change your perspective about what that is and what that means. So change your perspective. Introduce new things into your life. If you know what joy is to you and you know that certain things bring you joy, are you intentional and purposeful about introducing those joyful things into your life? Or is it more happenstance? Right? Because it could be that listening to your favorite artist brings you pure joy, but you only listen to them if they come on the radio, right? Are you intentionally and purposefully bringing elements into your life that cause you joy, that give you peace? Or are you just haphazardly waiting for them? If they come, then it's great. Life is wonderful. If they leave, then it's not anymore. Be purposeful about bringing those elements. If it's excitement, if it's adventure, do you only experience adventure if someone invites you? Or are you saying, okay, every 3 months I got to go get some adventure? Schedule those things into your life. Bring them in on purpose, the things that give you what you want out of life. And make sure that they're scheduled. Make sure that they're scheduled so that they're always a regular part of your life and you don't ever get away from it. Dr. Phil's wife, I can't think of her name right now, but she said that when he travels and he comes back home, she has his tennis shoes and tennis rackets waiting for him by the door because she knows that he needs to get some tennis in. I think that's the sport it was, right? So it's making sure that you get it, that you're scheduling it, that you're doing it on purpose. And then the last thing that I would just say about this is that you just have to at some point is to just be patient. Just learn to enjoy the journey. Learn to enjoy the lack of responsibility, or learn to enjoy helping your kids do their homework. Whatever it is, enjoy the blue sky. Enjoy the blue sky. Enjoy the green grass. We have to know how to enjoy the journey, because life is a journey. And all the goals that we set for ourselves, they happen along a continuum spectrum of journeys. And you reach one destination and you have another goal, and that puts you on a whole nother journey. And you're at a high because you just finished this goal, you made it, and you have a vision for the future. And so you have a high, you're excited about your vision. But then somewhere along the line, it's when we start to get a little antsy. But you have to learn to enjoy the entire journey. Enjoy the entire journey, because that's what life is. It's a series of journeys back to back to back. A journey of building your career, a journey of building your family, a journey of singleness, a journey of writing a book, a journey of losing weight. It's just a bunch of journeys. And if you don't like journeys, then you're going to have a really hard time having a joyful, peaceful, purposeful life. And have goals along the way. When we have something to look forward to, it really shifts us. That's why it's important to schedule things too, because I have a trip coming up in a few weeks, going to Lisa Nichols' Speak and Write and Make Millions. And I'm excited about that. I was just in San Diego a few weeks ago. And before that trip came up, I was excited about that. Man, I cannot wait to go to San Diego. It was my first time being there. Can't wait. And now I'm like, man, I can't wait to go to Lisa Nichols' Speak and Write and Make Millions. So having something to look forward to can also be a sense of joy and purpose, and to keep you from really mulling over just the day-to-day sameness of life. Another story that I'll throw in here. I went to Haiti last year. Went to Haiti with my church on a mission trip. And one of the things that we used to do or say during the trip is, where did you see Jesus today? And when I came home, I told my mom, my sister about that nightly ritual. Where did you see Jesus today? So then we started to do it ourselves. And that could also be something that you can leverage. Maybe it's not Jesus, but where did I see joy today? Where did I have peace today? Where was there purpose in my day today? Because some of the things that we want in our lives are really a matter of searching them out. It's really a matter of acknowledging them and finding them. So where did I see joy today? Where did I see adventure today? Where did I see God today? Ask yourself. Look for joy, peace, purpose every day, and then check in with yourself to see, where did you find it? Because if you find it, if you look for it, you will find it. If you go searching, you will find it. To wrap up, what I ultimately think that you need, regardless of what kind of life you are wanting to create, I think that you need the vision of what that means, what that looks like for you. And you need to hold that vision at the forefront of your life all the time and make decisions around that vision. So if you have a vision for peace and you know what that means to you, being drama-free, being anxious-free, feeling comfortable in your own skin, whatever it is, and then you're making decisions today that don't align with peace, then you're making the wrong decisions. Right? So have the vision in front of you and make all the decisions in your life line up with that vision. You have to have the faith that what you are envisioning for yourself and for your life is achievable and doable, and it is coming. And enjoy the journey while you are full of faith. And you need the discipline to do what needs to be done day in and day out, to endure the blue sky and the green grass over and over again, and keep putting those blue puzzle pieces down and those green puzzle pieces down, even though you're tired and you are ready to go on to the sun. You have to have the discipline to just keep going. And you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are, because it's very difficult to have a vision for life and not know who you are. Because you might say, I want an adventurous life, and that might not really be what you want, because you don't know what you want. So you have to know who you are. So that is my take on how to live a more joyful, peaceful, purposeful life, or any life that you could possibly imagine for yourself. I hope that helped. As always, I would love to hear from you. You can always send me an email at charlene@fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com. You can visit the website at www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. The links are there on the website, and you can also find and support the podcast on Patreon. Until next time, grow on purpose.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.